Hello, beautiful homemakers. I want you to imagine yourself in a beautiful garden. You're alone, just contemplating your life, and suddenly a counselor walks up to you and says, "Here's something fun for you to try. It's an ancient, sacred tool. It will lead you closer to God. It will help you find your true self. It will even help you in your marriage. You'll find your unique spiritual path. Your eyes will be opened as soon as you discover this powerful secret. Don't you want the wisdom it can give you? Don't you want to develop empathy? Don't you want to be mindful and meditate? It is all for your benefit. Why don't you share this with your husband so that he can go down this ancient path with you as well? Will you bite?" One Christmas several years ago, someone on my Christmas list requested the book The Sacred Enneagram as a gift. I bought it and flipped through it and noticed the section entitled The Contested History of the Enneagram. Contested? As in questioned? Challenged? Disputed? Yep. This piqued my curiosity, so I began researching the contested history, and boy did I find a lot that the author of the book, Christopher Herz, left out. The Enneagram is supposed to be from ancient times, but it's well documented that the Enneagram first came into being from George Gurdjieff, an esoteric teacher. Scholars have verified this. And poor George died on October 29th, 1949. That means that the Enneagram isn't ancient. In fact, for decades, there weren't even any words attached to the Enneagram design. George wrote that it was a design of cosmic reality, that you could see the universe in it because it had mystical meanings. It had nothing to do with personality tests or types. The second person to promote the Enneagram was George's mentee, P.D. Ouspensky. Ouspensky wrote about George Gurdjieff's ideas, which he called the Fourth Way, and these beliefs influenced the New Age movement. Since only the design existed without words, P.D. said that he and George made up meanings to go with the design during dinner parties in order to entertain people. Next, Oscar Ichazo promoted the design. In Hertz's book, The Sacred Enneagram, he said that Ichazo had a religious school. However, people who have emerged out of the New Age movement have reported that Ichazo's school in Arica, Chile, was an occult school. Ichazo also did not use the Enneagram for personality typecasting, but he did claim contact with two spirits who gave him ideas about it and how to use it. Then came Claudio Naranjo, a New Age psychiatrist who was introduced to the Enneagram from the occult school in Chile. Claudio Naranjo is the one who added in the personality types. He was interviewed in 2010, and on video, he admits that he made up the personality types on the Enneagram design. Also on tape, he admits that he and Ichazo made up the idea that it was ancient. Even more amazing, on this video, he says that the bulk of his work on writing down the personality types mainly came from automatic writing, which is channeling a spirit through writing, and it is believed that these spirits are fallen angels. Naharanjo holds to a New Age religious view, and on my website I'm going to link the video where you can hear these things come from Claudio Naharanjo's own mouth. Naharanjo brought his Enneagram ideas to Esalen, which was a New Age think tank in California back in the 1960s, where people got naked, took LSD, and beat on drums. I've listed all of my sources on my website. New Agers and New Age psychotherapists told their followers that the Enneagram would uncover their true divine self. Glorification of self is extremely important in the New Age. They believe man is from God and has a divine self. Guess who was also at Esalen? The Jesuit priest Robert Ochs, O-C-H-S. He took Naharanjo's work, changed it to fit his theology, and gave it to priests in the Catholic Church, though the Catholic Church never endorsed it. Richard Rohr learned of it from one of those Jesuit priests, and he wrote one of the most popular books on it in the 1990s. Sadly, Rohr, R-O-H-R, has many heretical views regarding God, Christ, sin, creation, man, and salvation. Plus, he believes in universalism. He teaches a false Jesus and a false Christ. And he says that Jesus was not the universal Christ, who Rohr believes was bigger than Jesus. Rohr, unfortunately, has been greatly influential in our biblically illiterate churches because people do not read their Bibles. Next came Alice Freiling. She said that the Enneagram is based on ancient writings from Ponticus, but Ponticus's writings have been thoroughly searched, and there is no mention of the Enneagram. In the 1980s, the Enneagram's popularity exploded with the blessing of Helen Palmer, a popular New Age writer and teacher. Oh, and she's also an intuitive. Let me translate that. That means that she's a psychic. David Daniels also wrote a book about it, and he is also in the New Age religion. Ian Cron and Suzanne Stabile wrote a popular book about the Enneagram, and guess who was her mentor? Richard Rohr. Cron and Stabile are adamant that the Enneagram is more than just a fun tool. The true purpose of the Enneagram is to reveal to you your shadow side and offer spiritual counsel on how to open it to the transformative light of grace. One of the biggest problems with the New Age religion is that New Agers take phrases from the Bible, then attach different meanings to the interpretation of well-known Christian words, such as what grace means. Just look at what they did with the word tolerant. Christopher Herz followed Richard Rohr as well, and in his book, The Sacred Enneagram, he thanked Rohr and 3 other New Agers. Critics have said that his book is full of anecdotal fallacies. So much for it being sacred. For a scholarly look at the writings of Christopher Herz, I suggest that you read this in-depth post by Dr. Kenneth Birding, a professor at Biola University, Talbot School of Theology. It's called The Not-So-Sacred Enneagram, and I'll link it on my website. Dr. Birding goes through the book extracting Hertz's own words, and he holds them up to the light of Scripture. Under the heading Biblical Interpretation, Dr. Birding says, in the handful of times that Mr. Hertz mentions or quotes from the Bible, truly, he rarely uses the Bible. I think he uses it 5 times. He never once apprehends, in my opinion, the author's intended meaning of the passages he mentions. The first paragraph of Dr. Birding's summary says, Christopher Herz is promoting many false doctrines in his book, The Sacred Enneagram. I write this with great grief and deep sorrow. The Sacred Enneagram is full of incorrect and misleading religious assertions. His teaching does not match what the Bible communicates regarding sin, salvation, sanctification, and probably also other core doctrines such as the nature of God, the person of Jesus Christ, and the atonement. He portrays the Enneagram as sacred, powerful, searching, alive. He mixes false religious ideas together with Christianity and seems unconcerned about the Enneagram's syncretistic origins. I'll also list a concise look at the fictions and facts of the Enneagram. But I think Marcia Montenegro in her article, What About the Enneagram?, sums it up perfectly. Despite there being not a shred of evidence for it, some supporting the Enneagram are trying to claim these so-called Christian origins. At the very least, this is misleading. There is nothing Christian about the Enneagram or its use. Its origins are pagan, and its purpose as a personality assessment tool was at the hands of some dubious esoteric psychologists. That it may seem accurate can be explained by confirmation bias and other factors. Millions of people also think their zodiac sign is spot on. So does that make zodiac signs credible? There is no objective basis for the Enneagram historically, as a personality assessment, or for being Christian. Since the Enneagram is false in nature, it means that Christians who recommend it are promoting a false idea and a false method for self-evaluation. How can Christians proclaim the truth of Jesus Christ while accepting a false tool? Marcia Montenegro used to be in the New Age, and she used to promote these zodiac signs. I've listed her story out of the New Age on my website, along with a detailed interview with her and Doreen Virtue and Melissa Doherty. I've listed about 8 different videos or links why Christianity and the New Age cannot blend, including a list that if you read it, you will see how the New Age movement has impacted our everyday lives. And many of the ideas on this list are now widely accepted, and that's why I want to bring attention to them. I just thought that you should know the truth about the Enneagram's origins, since it is so conveniently left out by the people who promote it. The Enneagram may seem innocent, and horoscopes may seem like fun, but both are false, New Age tools that will lead you into confusion instead of into clarity. John 14:6 says, Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. May God bless you as you pray and ask God to lead you into the truth.